Hey there, guys. Wanted to have a little bit of a preview here of the season that's coming up in front of us. We're looking at 2029, and I mean, as you know, we've already played quite a few matches. Here's the schedule. We'll ignore these friendlies. We have 6 matches already in this year. None of them have been in the actual league. We're right sitting in front of the first match against Taiwan, which is going to be tomorrow's video. We haven't lost anything. We have won every match, including every friendly, which is actually a little bit unusual for us. We did have a single draw with Matsuya, which is what you saw yesterday, and that was a pretty frustrating draw. It was a match that we really should have won. It's a match that we dominated, but it's going to happen from time to time. You're not going to win every single match in the season. We're not that good, but we are pretty good, I would say, and we'll see a little bit more here in a second. I'll take a quick look over here, first of all, at the competitions, and we'll look, of course, at this. We'll look at the season preview because there are no statistics. And what we'll see here in the season preview, if this loads up, there it goes, is that we are sure favorites to win. I mean, we are favorites to win to the extent that there's like nothing, and I mean nothing, that will likely prevent us from winning the league this season. This is probably the biggest odds I've ever seen in terms of any team I've managed as far as winning the league is concerned. What that means is that the loss of Yu Wei, who you can see right here, if the video is clear enough, it might not be. My apologies if it's not. But the loss of Yu Wei for 56,000 euros is actually not a really huge deal for us because we are so good at every single position. And as I mentioned in the other video, the other day, we have a number of guys who can sort of stand up and play in his place. Chill Wei. Do I know anything about this guy? As I'm looking through this, I don't know anything. Oh no, we have scouted him in the past, and he's inconsistent. So, okay, we're not going to worry too much about him being one of the better goalkeepers in the league because guess what? He's inconsistent, and so screw him. Who cares about him? We are a very, very good side. You can see that just here from the season preview. We're likely to win the league again this year. Quick look here at the squad. We'll go over here to the squad planner, actually, probably easiest way to look at this, and we'll go through sort of bit by bit. Leibold remains our first choice goalkeeper, but he is not as good as he once was. He's listed here as an emergency backup, and that is actually how we're going to end up playing him this season. This will be the first season in which he is not our number one choice. We will play him in the AFC Cup final. Hopefully that won't be a problem. You can see his progress here over time has not exactly been positive. He's had sort of like middling ability. He's gone down a little bit, up a little bit. Nothing has really changed that much. He's 29 years old. I know that for goalkeepers in Football Manager, that's not like a huge thing, but it's an issue. Number 2 is this guy, Cho Shuyun, who I just pulled up out of our youth team, who has very, very good potential. He's just not, he's a little bit off of first team skills and abilities right now. Here it's saying that he's the number 3 choice, but if you look elsewhere, like with the squad planner view, we actually have him as our number 2 choice, and then number 3 is Wu Shengjie, who I have actually played before, who also is just off of first team level, is probably a little bit further off, and would be a decent player here for Division 2 sides. So that's kind of what's going on at goal. Defense here, of course, Kader Bamba, we know him. Ye Wei, we had him on at the end of last season. He's one of the few players we've actually spent money on. He's not worth very much money. He thinks he's a big shot. He is a good player, and we're going to play him quite a bit, and he is a current international. I worry about him being unambitious, but whatever. Tai Yuting remains on the club, but probably will not be played as frequently. We were going to put Yu Wei up here as well. In his absence, I mean, Tsai Yuting's still there. He's 30 years old. This is, how long is his contract good for? It's through the end of 2030. So next season will be his last season with us. He's our team leader. We want to keep him on, but we're not going to play him very frequently. Zhou Hongyi is still on here. He's really not that good of a player, but, the thing that gets me about him is that when we do play him, his average rating tends to be pretty good. It wasn't quite as good last season as it was the season before. And then we get to the young guys. So we have Chen Yuchun, who I have played here before, who, again, is off of the first team level, a little bit slow, hasn't played that well for us in his opportunities, but he'll get more this season. There is Chen Yuting, who also is not quite a first team player, but who has done well in the few opportunities he's been given in the past. And then, of course, Hong Yiming. Hong Yiming is the new Yu Wei. This guy, I think, has a lot of potential and has a similar personality, a similar setup, and just has not quite played for us yet in the league. You're going to see a lot more of those three guys at the bottom than you'll see of these two when we play league matches. So, I mean, like Tai Yuting will almost certainly play in the AFC Cup final, and will probably play in some of the bigger matches that we have because we need the leadership. But when it comes to the other teams, you're going to see a lot more of these guys down here. Nothing has changed here on the left side other than Chen Jianliang is almost certainly the best player that we have. He's listed as a star player in the league at that position. I thought for a while it was going to be Chen Zhaoan who would be the star one or the best one. He is listed as a star player as well. But really, Chen Jianliang is a better player. You'll see those two rotate in and out. Chen Yuchun, not quite up to that point yet, but is a good backup option for injuries and for times when guys are tired. This side, of course, there's Menegong. Menegong is a great star player who's playing close to his potential. It says he doesn't like playing in big matches, but we haven't actually seen that really so far. There's Wang Xiangwei, who I put in whenever I think it's going to be a big match, and he isn't quite there yet, but when we take a look at, his performance has been all right. 6.62 is not great. Hu Chuyan is the last one, is also not quite there yet. And remember, these players are young. They do have the ability to get a little bit better, but yeah, the stats are just not quite where they need to be. Here in defensive midfield, of course, in Dai, we know about him. He's done a great job adapting to the new position, which I kind of forced upon him. He's really, really a good player. This guy's a big star, and the fans love him, and is going to hopefully continue to stick around for a while. There's Ling Guanda, who is injured at the moment. Might not have the required ability or potential. We might be able to get him up to that star ability. He's shown flashes of that from time to time. He's consistent, and this is like the guy. This is the reason why I wanted to come to Taiwan. I wanted to manage him. Whether he's there or not is another question. There's Chen Chengji. This is going to be Chen Chengji's last season, if I remember right. Yeah, his contract expires at the end of 2029. So we're going to get rid of him afterwards. I mean, he's been a good player for us, but he's really just not there anymore. He's not going to improve. He's been getting worse as time has gone on, so we're going to cut away his playing time. We want to see what the likes of, say, this guy, Chen Yuehan, end up looking like, who does have the ability to be pretty good, and who hasn't played for us in the first team at all. And then there's Lu Qinghua, who has played for us in the first team. And also, there's consistency and stuff like that. We'll see how he is. He hasn't really been a star for us in the past, but we'll see what happens. I think that Ndai and Chen Chengji are actually both going to be out of the AFC Cup final, if I remember right. I know that Ndai will, so you'll see these guys there as well. And then we have our guys at the top. And this is where it gets pretty interesting, right? So you have Nene, of course. We know Nene. Nene, by the way, is actually a player who enjoys big matches. So I was wrong in that video all those weeks ago. He likes it, and he plays very well at it. This guy's a star. Hopefully will stay around for a long time. Silla is another star player for us who has not quite been there in terms of the form and hasn't been scoring the goals quite the way that Nene has. And then there's Wang Qinghua, who's a new signing for us. Wang Qinghua came to us via Taichung, and we just simply got him off. He was on loan. I'm sorry. He was on loan for a little while. From Hangyuan originally. He was on loan at Taichung. I'm not sure I remember exactly why we did that. He ends up turning out to be a really good player who has a lot of potential, so we're going to actually play him, and I was going to bin him off. Just imagine that. Hong Guanda, you've seen. Sai Shangwei, you've seen, is definitely a major star and has the ability to score a lot of goals for us. Even though they say he might not have the required ability or potential, we know that he does. And then there's Huang Guanda, and then you have 5 of these other players, and I'm not quite sure what to do with them. They're going to sort of rotate in and out. So we have kind of an embarrassment of riches here as far as this is concerned. Now, when you talk about storylines, the biggest storyline of the offseason was Kader Bamba and his contract. So we have him on 375 a week. We had to give him all sorts of stuff to get him to take that. He also has a 50% sell-on fee percentage. Look, this guy has never had a international cap. I don't think that anybody from anywhere in the world is going to go after him. He's a great player. I'm not sure that he's necessarily that good, though. We'll see if we hold on to him or not. There's a chance that he may end up leaving at the end, and if he does, I just want to make sure I get money for him. And then the other one that we worry about, of course, is Scylla. Scylla, he gets up there, he plays well, but then sometimes he doesn't play quite that well. I don't know if I can see last season's matches or not. The problem that we have is that he doesn't score and he doesn't give up, he doesn't have assists that often. And the other big problem is the injuries. It doesn't tell me that he's injury prone, but you look at this and you're like, yeah, we've seen a lot of injuries recently. And that has it's hindered his progress a little bit, right? We're hoping that he'll make a little bit more progress, but there's a chance that Scylla will not be on this team in the long term. Anyway, there you go. That's a real quick look at what we're looking like this coming season. I think that we're going to end up winning the league this season. I think that we definitely have a chance to win the AFC Cup. And in terms of like the long-term potential of this save, we'll see. I'll give it definitely this season. We'll see how we play. If we like totally bomb out of the AFC Cup, I might start looking right away for different jobs in New Zealand. We'll have the finances up there. I'm going to ask the board once we get our money, even if we lose, we'll be well over $1 million. I'm going to ask the board to go professional. And we'll see what happens as a result of that. Anyway, we'll see how it works. But again, if the money's not really coming in, the board has me on a year-to-year contract, basically. If all else fails, I'll just go to New Zealand and remember the good times here and then try to take some of these players with me. So that's sort of the plan. We'll see if anything's available there. That's it for now, and I'll see you tomorrow with the match. Bye-bye.